So recently started working with Shiny here down at BoxSmart Elite. I'd looked to start work, or I'd thought about starting to bring on a boxing coach just about 3 or 4 weeks before my last fight, but you know, that late in a fight camp I wouldn't want to make any changes, so it was always the plan to come and work or trial working with Shiny following my last fight. Kind of works out well with how the fight went, but yeah, I've been about 8 sessions in now, 4 weeks in working with him, and yeah, he's a really good coach. Some of my teammates, Leon, Fabian, Jake, Jack, quite a few people have come over here now and started working with him. Really enjoying the training. It's hard on the arms, on the shoulders. You know, I'm throwing like 3 or 4 times the volume of punches that I would usually throw in these sessions with Shiny. But yeah, he's a good coach and he's very open-minded to MMA. You know, he watches the sport closely. He's quite new to the MMA world and game, but I can see he's an intelligent coach with the way he coaches and his open-mindedness. And our dialogue we have, where we're back and forth with each other discussing whether this would work in a fight or not. It's really smart. Goes with the name, BoxSmart Elite. But yeah, so early on in the journey, I'm going to be using him now as my boxing coach. We've established that relationship, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hitting people even harder with even better technique.
It's been another fantastic opportunity to work with somebody like Tim. I got to see him briefly at Renegade whilst I've been going over to get a better understanding of Fabian. During his camp, obviously went out to Belfast with Fabian and got to see Tim. His style's pretty, you know, he's got his own sort of style. It's a little unconventional, a little unorthodox, and I think that a lot of people say that that's what kind of makes him so difficult to fight against. He obviously wanted to brush up on some of his striking, some of his boxing areas, so he reached out to get in touch with us, and he's been another joy to work with, in all honesty. Really easy to work with, really forthcoming with slight change, and what we mean by that is technically he's not what we call a textbook boxer, textbook fighter, but we don't want to get rid of that from him. So what we're just trying to do is tighten up some areas where there's no real give. Like when you're right in front of somebody and you're vulnerable, there's got to be moments there where you've got to tighten up and be technically a little bit better in the shot and correction, but then still allow him to have that flair that makes him so awkward to kind of compete against. So he's been great. It's been really easy to kind of get there. And we discuss things quite regularly during the session to make sure that we're both comfortable with what we're trying to achieve, and I think he's enjoying it. So yeah, it's been a great experience at the moment. I'm looking forward to obviously seeing some of those changes, as we've seen with Fabian and some of the others, kind of coming to fruition when he next competes.
Doing something like that, and I'm like moving. You don't have to be a big reset, does it? You kind of just said hit, change the line edge, and that's it. So that's like just like kind of one pace, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're working between these two here, you punch this side, step across, and then effectively be off the line.
Oh, to just miss the car, mate.
Yeah. So I can be like here with the backhand, and then here I'm off the line effectively.
When I very first started, I was very regimented around a textbook style, and this one style kind of fits everyone, and I know it works, so everyone has to be like that. But I found over the years, as I became more experienced as a coach and kind of being opened up to see like a lot more elite level performance coaching, seminars, educational things, that what we want to try and do is give people the choice at elite level 100%. We kind of look at a spectrum, and at the elite level people need to be able to make their own decisions, and what we're trying to do is aid them and provide an environment that allows them to make them decisions themselves, but also be able to experiment what works and what doesn't. That's why, you know, the shadow, how their thought process works, the partner work becomes really important, because there they get to practice in a safe environment the things that work and don't work. So then between us we can work out the style that kind of suits them. There's some things that are like non-negotiables, but 9 times out of 10 every kid has those basics, and then we allow it to kind of
work and experiment what kind of works for them. So I think that's just something across the board now that we do with every fighter, because each fighter is their own. They have their own sort of style. Southpaw orthodox makes a massive change into some of those options as well. So I think each individual that's come through from a boxing perspective or recently from an MMA perspective has had that same sort of treatment where we work some particulars but still have that open discussion with them around letting them keep their own sort of thought-making process.
With my background being Shotokan karate, you know, it's took me a little bit of adjustment, and then obviously kind of how my style's developed through previous coaches like John Roberts and Nathan Epps and Damien Trainer. It took a couple of sessions to integrate in and for Shiny to get used to me, I think, as well. But what I like about him is he's not looking to turn me into a boxer who's, you know, planting his feet, you know, like a pro boxing style. His style of boxing suits my style of striking anyway, with the movement. He's he believes the kind of amateur style boxing works better for MMA, and I would agree. So he's allowing me to incorporate my funky movement and angles in, with tightening everything up, making my punching technique and rhythm and form better. So yeah, it's going to be a good collaboration, and I'm excited to bring more violence to the cage next fight. Following the last fight, I spent 2 weeks just chilling with the family and my son, resting my body, spending quality time with my son, and luckily he was the school holidays, so timing was perfect. But during that time, I spent the time kind of studying myself, thinking about the changes I want to make, and also like mapping and scheduling the rest of the year, and how I want it to look and go. And you know, currently I'm in a 7-week out of camp block, and then I'm going away for a little family break during the school holidays again. And then I've got another 7-week block, which will be an out of camp block. And then potentially a fight camp 8-week block into London. That's what I'm hoping for, and sending messages out into the universe to make that happen. I'd like to fight on London. But yeah, so like this 7-week block now out of camp, I was just developing a relationship with new coaches, tightening everything up, starting training, and then this next 7-week block was going to be an out of camp block again. But you know, it looks like some of the team are going to be fighting on Manchester, UFC Manchester in July. So I wouldn't be surprised if I end up being like a main sparring partner for some of them to help prepare them for that. But essentially that's going to help me get ready, like a pre-camp block for myself going into fight camp. So, you know, I'm always a good teammate. I help the guys out, and you know, all works growing me, developing me, getting me fitter, sharper. So I train smart anyway, you know. So yeah, I think I want to finish the year with a bang, really strong.
What kind of sloppy work's going on there, Shiny? I know it's sloppy. You're a big boy. Nah, I look normal, bro. I don't know what you weigh, bro. I look way from what I normally weigh, innit? Nah, bro. I do, bro. Nah, bro. I do. Look, listen.